Hey everybody, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking about the gear that I use to shoot my videos. So I'm not going to be going into an in-depth discussion about each piece of gear. Instead, I'm going to be giving like the general overview, or at least I'm going to try. Alright, so I'm going to be splitting up the topics from cameras to lighting to audio and like different types of setups. So let's get started. First things first, let's talk about my camera. So I still shoot with the Panasonic Lumix G85, and I've had this camera for the past 3 years. And honestly, I don't have much to complain about it. It still gets the job done. It's a great little camera for content creation. So the Lumix G85 is a micro four thirds camera, meaning that the sensor you're getting on it is actually the smallest you can get on mirrorless cameras. So what does that mean, right? Does it mean that the camera sucks because the sensor is small? No, not really. It does mean that you have a crop factor of 2 though. So just like with your APS-C cameras, like your Fuji's and your Sony a6000 series, they're APS-C. So they have a crop factor of 1.5 to 1.6. So the crop factor on micro four thirds isn't that bad, although since the sensor is smaller, it does struggle a little bit in low light. Despite this camera lacking features like 1080 120 or 4K 60, it still has a lot to offer. For example, its small and lightweight body. That's like the biggest pro of the micro four thirds line. Compact body, small lenses, so you don't have to worry about breaking your back every time you travel with all your gear. My one complaint about this camera though is the fact that it only shoots in 60 frames per second in 1080, which it's not the best anymore, you know, but it's still decent slow motion. You can slow it down up to 40% in post, and it can also shoot in 4K 30 frames per second. So the G85 doesn't have a recording limit, which is great for longer videos like podcasts or really long time lapses. You don't have to worry about it. But the best thing about this camera is the 5-axis in-body image stabilization. I was actually blown away by the results I got on my hike back in January because I shot everything handheld. All I brought with me was the camera and the lens, the kit lens, which is also image stabilized, and the shots came out really good. And like I literally was just holding it, and it was a hike, so there was a lot of movement, so it does the job pretty well for handheld shots. Another great thing about Panasonic cameras is the app. So it's called the Panasonic Image app, and it allows you to control pretty much everything from your phone. So while your camera is set up far away from you, you don't have to keep coming back and forth. So this is huge for me because I shoot all my videos by myself. So yeah, I'm using it right now so I can see if I'm in frame, if I'm in focus, and I can adjust like the ISO. I can even adjust the aperture of my lens, which is amazing. So all in all, the G85 is still a fantastic little camera, regardless of it being a little dated. So fun fact, I was actually supposed to buy a new camera recently, but I decided not to because I realized that upgrading my camera wouldn't really change the way my videos would look and sound. So I decided to invest in lighting and audio. So yeah, I use 2 lights now, the Aputure MC and the Aputure Amaran AL-MC. So I got the MC first, thinking that it was probably good enough to light my videos, but I was wrong because it's a tiny light. But it's an amazing tiny light. It's the one that's lighting me up right now. I'll go get it. So you can see it can get very bright, but let's dim it down. So this is the Aputure MC. So it's a little light that has a CCT of 3200K all the way to 6500K. But the best thing about it is that it's an RGB light. So you have a huge assortment of colors to choose from, and you have complete control over the hue, saturation, and intensity, which is pretty cool. You can even go on their app to pick out a color using the camera, and it will just produce it. Isn't that amazing? So yeah, the MC is a tiny little light with a built-in battery, 2600 milliamperes to be exact. It's pretty decent, but it won't last that long if the light is maxed out, maybe 30 minutes to an hour. It has magnets on the back so you can attach it to things that are metal, because that's how magnets work. And yeah, it comes with a nice little soft box here, so like when you're lighting yourself, it's a nice soft diffused light. It's not just like harsh light hitting your face. So overall, this is an amazing little light. It gets very, very bright, so you could light yourself with it. It just didn't give me the look that I wanted specifically, but yeah, you can also use it as a key light. For me personally, I use it to light my background, so yeah. So the second light I use is this main light, the one that's lighting me up right now. It's the Aputure Amaran AL-MC. So I use this as my main light, and it's actually a very small and compact light as well, but it is much brighter than the MC. It doesn't have built-in batteries, but you can get batteries if you wanted it to be battery operated. The cool thing about this is that it's powered by USB-C as well, so you can have it plugged in either a wall via an adapter or power it up via a power bank. Its CCT can go from 3200K all the way to 9500K, so it can get very, very cool compared to the MC. It actually emits like a bluish light. Biggest problem I had was it didn't have a softbox like the MC did, so I had this speed light rig for photography, like literally an umbrella holder. It's on top of that. I insert the umbrella, and this umbrella kind of diffuses the light, so it's nice and soft, so like you don't have any harsh shadows. So it's been working out pretty great. It's not as feature packed as the MC, but it does the job pretty well. My only problem with this light is that it seems a little plasticky, so it might not survive a harsh fall, but yeah, overall it's a great light. So I've been using the same mic for the past 3 years already, and that's the Rode Video Micro, and it's a great little mic. It's tiny, it's inconspicuous, it doesn't have batteries, so you just have to plug it directly into the camera and you don't have to worry about whether or not your audio is failing you. It also comes with a dead cat, which is really great. So if you don't know what that is, it's a little fluffy thing that sits on top of your camera so it doesn't catch any wind noise. Anyway, I don't have much to say about this little mic other than that it's fantastic. It has great audio. It's good for both traveling and these types of videos where I'm just sitting down and talking to the camera because it's really close to my face. The way to get the best audio is have the mic as close to the subject as much as possible. So yeah, I was actually planning to upgrade to the video mic NTG, but I realized that probably wouldn't change the audio that much if it's still plugged into my camera. So that segues into my next piece of gear, which is the Zoom H1N. So this is an external recorder, and you must be wondering, why can't I just plug it directly into the camera? Well, you definitely could. But the thing is, the built-in preamps inside the cameras aren't that great. Luckily with the G85, I've never really had a problem with the audio. I just needed it as close to me as possible and it still gave off good audio. But just like with video quality, there is also audio quality. So with an external recorder, you're able to pick out like what format you want to use, whether you want to use MP3 or WAV. And with WAV, you can choose the bit rate and bit depth. I personally use 24-bit 48K, and the reason why is because some guy on YouTube told me to. He said it was a really good sweet spot for audio. The files aren't too big and it's really, really good. And yeah, I did notice a big difference in the audio quality. I shot all the audio from my latest silent vlog on this thing and it was great. You can even monitor your audio while you're recording, which is great for me because like when I'm shooting like these ASMR type videos, I have to know whether or not it's too loud because I don't want my audio to peak, or whether or not I'm getting the sound, like because you know I might have to raise the gain a little bit, which is great because on this device you have a dial in front which allows you to adjust the gain while you're recording. So that's fantastic. And if you don't have a mic to plug into this, you don't really have a problem because there are two mics built on top. It's also good quality mics that you can use for voiceovers or to capture ambient sound and all of that. The only thing is you probably need a pop filter because it catches all your P's and your B's and every time you exhale air. So yeah, but other than that, it's a great little mic on top of the recorder. So the third piece of tech that I use for audio is my podcast mic. This is the Rode NT USB Mini, and it's a fantastic little mic because it's so easy to use. It's a USB mic, so all you need to do is plug it in to either your laptop, your phone, your tablet, literally anything, and get good audio right off the bat. So I think that's what Rode tried to do. You know, this is for beginners who want to get into the audio game, maybe start a podcast or start live streaming or just like these mukbang type videos, because it's so easy to use. You don't have to worry about XLR cables or anything like that, you know, with all the technicalities that come with audio equipment. This is just so simple, and the audio comes out really good. So unlike with the Zoom H1N, you can pick like different formats. You can't do that here. The audio here is set at 16-bit 48K. So what does that mean, right? I don't know either, but the audio is really good straight off the bat. You can even go the extra mile and pick out a software to like adjust the compression or whatever. I use GarageBand because they have presets for narration, and you can like tweak with it a little bit to see how you want it to be. This is a great mic for beginners. You can even monitor your audio because it has a headphone jack on the back, so while you're like singing or while you're speaking, you can hear everything real time, zero latency. It also comes with a built-in pop filter, which is great. So like what I said earlier with the Zoom H1N, it's not gonna catch any of your P's, B's anytime you exhale air because it's right here ready to go. So yeah, this is a fantastic little mic for beginners. So in terms of stabilization, I use two tripods, a photo tripod from Manfrotto. Not the best, but it gets really small, so it's good for traveling. And the second one is fairly new. I got the Benro Aero 2 Angel Travel tripod with fluid head, so it's a video tripod. And it was amazing for shooting B-roll because I could get these nice, smooth panning shots without having to break out my gimbal. So yeah. Next up, we have my stabilizer. So I actually got this in late 2019 because I had so many trips planned for 2020. What a joke, right? But anyway, I got this because of its small form factor. So you can see it locks, so you don't have to worry about like the motors hitting each other or doing something horrible in your camera bag while you're moving around. So yeah, it's really small, and I honestly haven't been able to like test out all of the trendy features that it offers, but yeah, for the most part, getting really smooth shots, it does the job really well. And it's so compact because you can just like put it in a bag. You know, that was like my biggest worry when I was looking for stabilizers, was that they were all so big and you couldn't break them down. This one gets really small and compact, so I love that. Overall, it's also a great gimbal. So I have 4 setups. So the first one is traveling, which is probably the simplest. This second is these talking videos. Third is the podcast, and fourth, like the silent type vlog ASMR videos. So the first one is traveling. Again, the simplest because I just have my camera on top of a small tripod with the mic sitting on top of it. I usually use my kit lens, which is the widest one. So yeah, it can capture me while I'm vlogging, and I use the gimbal as much as I can when I can with the 16mm f1.4 for B-roll. So the second setup is pretty much me right now. I have the Rode Video Micro connected to the Zoom H1N as close to me as possible. The Aputure Amaran AL-MC is lighting me with the umbrella setup. The MC is behind me lighting up my background. I'm using the 16mm f1.4, so for some bokeh in the back. And yeah, that's pretty much it. For the podcasts, it's pretty much the same setup, except I use my 50mm f1.7 and I use my podcast mic, my NT USB Mini for audio. And the last one is the silent vlog ASMR type videos. I pretty much go all around the house or around the room, so there's no fixed setup. So for the light, I usually just bring the MC with me. I actually have a photo here, so I put the light on top of the shelf so it's shining down on the notebooks. I have the camera set up at an angle I want it to be, and the mic is connected to the Zoom H1N as close as possible to whatever I'm doing so it can capture good sound. So yeah, So that's pretty much that for this video. That's all the gear that I use, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. So yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Take care.